Now, if you're a man over 40, you are in the highest risk category. Things start to happen by this age after years and years of neglect or abuse or just life building up and beating you up. So it's your choice whether you choose to just accept that you are getting older and that's what's happening, or if you don't want to accept that, you want to reject the status quo and go, all right, I'm just going to get better. Now, I've spent 16 years fighting chronic fatigue and I'm 46 now. And if I was just to accept that that was aging, I may never get better. I may never have improved at all. But especially in the last, say, 15 months, I've improved dramatically over multiple different areas. And I've had to do a whole lot of different things in my life to be able to improve, but that just proves that if I'm over 40, I can get better. I can improve in many, many ways. If I can do it, you can do it. Everyone's situation, sure, it's different. And I think mine is probably more extreme than many, but it's not uncommon because unfortunately, these weird mystery illnesses are getting more and more common, and the stresses of life are just building up to a point that are far greater than most of us can really handle. So, at this age, this is kind of where you're at that metabolic debt, cardiovascular debt. It's built up. You've worked so hard, you've pushed so hard in so many different ways that body gets burnt out. It doesn't necessarily know how to fix whatever's going on. It doesn't know how to manage what's going on. You may have accumulated plaque in your heart, in your arteries, because of diet, lifestyle, what have you. You might have stopped exercising. You may have just backed off and you may not be what you used to. You may not even have enough time to do the exercise that you want to do. Maybe you're just too tired to be able to do it. Can't eat what you used to eat because obviously that just throws more weight on you and you end up with a spare tire hanging around your belly and you find it quite difficult to move, and that's not uncommon. Then you've got a biological cliff where testosterone starts to drop. Now, testosterone is the primary hormone for men, the driving hormone, the thing that allows you to push, motivation. It allows for growth, muscle growth, energy. And if you don't have that anymore, or it's just dropped off to a low number, your drive isn't there, your fat burning rate isn't there, your muscle building rate isn't there. So that's got to be addressed. And unfortunately, lifestyle, build up of toxins that accumulated through food, water, oxygen, clothing, lifestyle, they all play a part with this. So maybe testosterone is something you need to address seriously rather than just, oh yeah, it will be nice. But you know, if you really want to be a high performance man, be able to have a really strong second half of your life, then it's worth looking into. What about accumulated inflammation? Again, we're talking about a build-up. If you're over 40, years of eating has caught up with you, years of drinking, illicit substances, maybe a lifestyle of laziness, maybe binge eating, maybe it could be all sorts of different things. But the inflammation's there. You get inflammation in your joints, you get inflammation in your digestive system, and that causes all sorts of issues, can lead to autoimmune problems. We get inflammation in all sorts of different places. You could get inflammation in your brain and have all sorts of problems coming from that too. Something can be done about it, but it means you need to step up and change. You can't just do the same thing you've been doing, because that obviously has produced the result that you've got. And if you want a different result, you can do something different. Men also tend to fall into this provider trap. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's built into our DNA. It's built into us that we want to be out there and provide for people. Provide for your family, provide for your partner, provide for your community. And that's great, but a lot of the time we do it at a neglect of our own health. We put everybody else first and ourselves last. And I'm sure that that's one of the reasons that I ended up getting sick, is I'm an overgiver. I like to help people. And in the past, I have been helping people at the expense of my own health. And I think that's a great contributor to why I ended up sick in the first place. So, where are you in this trap? Are you looking after everybody else and neglecting yourself? What can you do for yourself to be able to look after you as a priority? Because remember, if you don't look after you, you can't look after everyone else. What happens if you get sick? Have you got income protection insurance in place, or have you got a huge nest egg sitting there to be able to look after the family, look after the partner, look after all your responsibilities? What happens if you can't work anymore? I know this might sound like a theoretical thing, but it happened to me, so it can happen to you. In fact, so many of my friends have had different issues like this that have stopped them from being able to work. One of them had a hip replacement, second hip replacement, and then a month later was in a car accident, not fault, and that required shoulder reconstruction. He spent the best part of 9 months not being able to work. That doesn't work very well. My brother-in-law got cancer. That takes a toll on everyone, physical and emotional, financial. And it happens. And a lot of it is just because you neglect your own self, or you overdo it looking after everybody else. So what's the solution here? You've got to move from being reactive to proactive. Western medicine is like, when the problem arises, I'll try and fix the problem. Eastern medicine is, we keep you healthy rather than treat you when you get sick. And I'm not saying you have to go into the Eastern medicine. I'm saying that that philosophy is where you really want to be. If you want a strong second half of your life, then you've got to step things up. You've got to sort out your food. You've got to be a bit more disciplined there. You've got to exercise in a way that's suitable for you to be able to build your energy back up, because you're probably beat down at the moment. You might have injuries and stuff. They need to be fixed before you can really do the next thing. You've got to get your head straight, so you're in a strong mental position, suitable to be able to look after your friends, your family, but most of all yourself first, so that you are strong, confident, disciplined, set strong boundaries, so that you can look after you, which allows you to look after everybody else. Got to make sure your finances are in order, and that's not just for you, but that's for your family. Making sure you're not overindulging and overspending on certain things, which might be great for the short term but terrible for the long term. Getting back in touch with nature and your spiritual self, your connection to spirit. You may not even believe in it, may have had enough of hearing about religion and stuff like that, but it's far more than just religion. It's you and the relationship you have to yourself, the peace that you have, the inner happiness, purpose, feeling like you're alive for a reason, being happy to be alive, being able to enjoy your day despite what's going on. It's one of the cool things. Despite going through 16 years of hell, I'm happier now than I've ever been, and I wouldn't trade that 16 years for anything, because I learned so much along the way. I learned so much about myself, and I also got to this point where I'm happy every day, even if I'm in pain, and I'm regularly in pain, and sometimes that pain could be a 9 out of 10. Doesn't matter. I've learned to get really excited about the good times, the social times, and try and make the most of it. Even just going for a walk outside like this, I'm making the most of it. I'm absolutely loving this. This is what life's all about. The quiet stillness brings me to a sense of peace and makes the day, the weeks, a whole lot easier, and it's something I have to look forward to as well. You need to look after your social situation too. It's really common for men especially to just lose touch with their friends. You get so focused on the family that you don't look after your own needs for mateship, socializing, communication, social sports, gathering together. That's something that I've really been able to grow and establish over the last 15 months. It's been the best thing ever. And because I've been lucky enough to come into this place where my energy's gone up and I can socialize, I've been able to build some incredible friendships along the way, and I can see the impact that has on my community, the impact it has on the people who are involved, the people that I've met, and how much they're changing along the way as well, for the better too. It's not just seeing them have some sort of a friend or connection, it's seeing them go out and want to reconnect and want to build relationships for themselves. So I challenge you to do the same thing, because if you do focus on these 6 things: your physical health, your mental and emotional health, your financial health, spiritual health, your connection to your inner circle, so close family and friends, and then your connection to the community, and that all leads to you getting closer to a lifestyle that you really want, gets closer to you living to the mission, the purpose that you really want. It allows you to think clearly and make better decisions. So do I want to continue doing this job, or do I want to go and work for myself, or do I want to go and do something even bigger? It allows you to have more fun, spending more time with the people that you love, doing the things that you love. And really, that's what it's all about. That's the most important thing. So while there is a very great risk, there's also a great reward if you spend the time doing the work. And I encourage you to do the work, because if you do the work, you get a great result and you get a life that you'll absolutely love.